very warm welcome. My name is Federico Ree and this is InspireTalk TV. And joining me today is another very, very distinguished guest. She's in the fitness industry and she's the CEO and founder of Fernwood Fitness. Di Williams, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Federico, and thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So thank you once again. Di, I'd like to really dig deep into your story in terms of the early days of founding your business back in the late 80s to where it is now as a very successful franchise. So I guess the title of this interview or session or episode is about how you revolutionised, I guess, the fitness industry with the uniqueness of your business model. And maybe starting off with my first question being around what inspired you to start this business, which is targeting females.
Okay, well, I actually wasn't inspired to start a business. I was more inspired to form a place where women could go and work out and get the benefit of strength training that I used to do. I used to go to a mixed gym and I loved the idea of the results I got from working out with weights. Most women didn't go to a gym, and certainly if they did go to a gym, they never went in the weights area of a gym. And I thought how great it would be for women to be able to work out with weights. The benefits physically, it improves their metabolism, they're stronger, it changes their shape, everything that a woman would like.
Yes.
But then they never work out with weights, they just go and do running or good fitness or something like that. So the reason I first started was purely to get women introduced to weights, and I thought I'd just start a little club that women can come along, and it wasn't really intended to be a business.
Great. So at what point did it become evidential that it would be a business?
Well, very, very quickly. It was started off in a little abandoned school. After 6 months, that
humble
had to
beginnings.
be very, very humble. After 6 months, we had to relocate to larger premises. Had to start paying serious rent and hiring staff. We had so many members coming in wanting to join up, and at that point I realised this was something that was going to be a very successful business.
Right.
So,
and obviously over the 25 plus years you've established enormous growth. And just for the record, I've got some statistics here. Basically your first gym was in Bendigo and you were, one of the awards was most successful private business under $100 million by BRW magazine.
Yes.
One of Australia's top 10 fastest growing businesses.
Yeah.
And you have over 70 clubs or thereabouts. And the list goes on in terms of your accolades.
Yes.
So, you know, the aspiring entrepreneur is probably there listening, thinking, wow, how did you do that?
Well, that's right. And I think if you had have said to me back then, well, you were going to start a business and you're going to win all these awards, I would just run a million miles and said, that's not going to happen. But each thing happens one bit at a time. You know, you just start one little thing and then you develop it and you grow it and you expand it. So it's like a jigsaw. You just get one little piece, then you put another little piece in. Before you know it, you've moved on, and you always keep shifting the goalposts. So you don't ever say, well, I'm there. You know, you never get there. You think, oh, well, when you get there, well, then there's something else you want to do.
So it certainly is a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
And it has its challenges putting those pieces together. So what were, I guess, one or two initial challenges?
Initially, the challenges would have been the fact that I was a woman from a country town, didn't have any prior business experience, and in the fitness industry, which didn't have a great reputation, franchising, which didn't have a great reputation. I had a lot of things stacked against me as far as credibility.
Yes.
I didn't like to think I was part of the fitness industry. Back then I liked to think that it was something different to a gym, which is why we called it Fernwood. It was more like a place where women would come and enjoy rather than being part of like the fitness industry.
Sure. And would one of those challenges be targeting just females and not males, I suppose?
There was lots of challenges in the early days. There was equal opportunities issues with people taking us to task about the fact that we can't do that. We had a wonderful PR experience in 1995 when we were taken to the Equal Opportunities Commission, and that became headlines around the country. So we got a lot of PR out of that. We had to go to the Equal Opportunities Commission and plead our case, which we won. But all of a sudden people started talking about Fernwood and saying, oh, it's not a nursery, it's a women's gym. And
so there's no surprise you've had those challenges, and I guess there's always skeptics out there and those that are trying to pull you back.
There still are.
And that's, I guess, part of your endeavour to push on, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's just, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, so they say. But there's always those things that you look at it in a positive, you get a good something good comes out of all of these things and helps you get better at what you're doing.
So vision, tenacity and all that is obviously
exactly.
relevant. In terms of guiding you, or people who guided you through the steps of starting up a business, so therefore mentors and coaches.
Yes.
One thing I do read here is one of your philosophies or quotes is, my role is just to share my vision and mentor staff to grow and develop. So I guess on the subject of mentorship, how important is that, and should every business owner or entrepreneur have a mentor or coach?
Look, I have had an executive coach at a certain time. I've never really put a lot of energy into getting a coach most of the time, especially in the early days, but I was a sponge. I went to all kinds of seminars and conferences and read books, and I was like a sponge learning from the people that had done it before. So
learning is always good.
Constantly learning, and I think it helps you realise that you're on the right track. When you're growing a business, you're being you tend to second guess yourself sometimes. You don't have that confidence, so you do tend to think, is this the right thing or not? When you go and see what other people have done, it gives you that extra confidence that you can trust yourself and you're making the right decisions.
So apart from having great help out there and obviously being a great leader that you are, what role do staff have in terms of developing that culture and that desire to grow and develop and so forth?
They have a lot. I think that happens naturally within what we do, because I'm entrepreneurial, and I probably surround myself with people like that.
Do you label yourself entrepreneurial? Or?
Well, I obviously am, because I can't stop myself.
I'd like to think you are.
I can see that I'm doing things that sometimes annoy the staff, because I'm always coming up with something else that we can do, some innovation or whatever. So it does tend to sort of rub off on them, and they don't feel backward in coming forward with an idea that they might have as well.
I'm really interested to explore quickly the subject of entrepreneurship, which is all about employees adopting that same philosophy or attitude that you have of dealing with the odds and all that. What's your leadership style with regards to nurturing that entrepreneurship in the business?
Yes, well, I suppose the opposite of entrepreneurship is entitlement, isn't it? That's the opposite, and that doesn't really fit well within our culture. We like everybody to feel as though they're part of the business, that they actually can contribute to any innovation, no matter how foolish it might seem to other people. And being able to be involved in the growth of the business and responsible for the outcome.
Sure. So as a female leader, what would be one key advice for other female leaders out there in terms of...
One key
one.
Okay. I think probably for a female, maybe don't second guess yourself, have confidence, and you can always make mistakes and change your mind and go a different path if things didn't work out. But make a decision, do your due diligence, and then continue on with it, rather than there'll always be naysayers, there'll always be people saying, oh no, that won't work, so you can't be constantly being put down. You just have to have the confidence in your own ability.
Sure. Being a female leader, is that particularly more challenging than being a male leader, do you think?
Oh, not necessarily. Sometimes it's more helpful. You get some extra, opportunities because you're a female. You get more PR perhaps than.
And I guess it fits in well with the business.
Well, that's right.
Concept.
This wouldn't work half as well if I was a man, I don't think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Might have a different context.
I would tend to agree. I guess moving subject in terms of social media and how that's influenced or impacted your business over the years. Obviously, you've got a huge following. Around 70,000 or so.
Yes.
What would be the key to establishing a loyal fan base in this very saturated world that we're in?
Yeah, well, I think obviously is being attentive to them, because you can. Social media can be fantastic for business and also be very damaging if you're not paying attention to what people are saying out there and being empathetic to whatever is being said. It's very important, to be able to communicate to all of our members and non-members, women all around, about what's going on, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and get people to have a sense of community. We've always at Fernwood had that community feel. It's been part of the culture of what we do. we do a lot with, we have a foundation which initially was set up to establish a Venus program, which was for disadvantaged women, and we take them through a program to get them back on course and teach them some life skills to give them the confidence to get out there, which was a wonderful program. And now we're working on mental health, and there's a huge need now today for women to who are suffering from anxiety and depression.
Great.
And things that are leading to mental health issues. So we've partnered up with Deakin University, and we're working on a program, or they are working on a program which will be evidence-based program to help women and teenage girls in particular to be able to overcome all those things which are often caused through social media.
Sure.
And the things that impact women's lives to make them feel that they can't cope. So
obviously that was a genuine cause and why you do what you do, but
Yeah.
do you think organisations of your size need to embrace more philanthropic activities, I guess?
Well, yes, I think so, but then, it takes a lot of time and energy and money.
Yes.
You've got to put a lot of money into this to make it work.
Of course.
And some businesses, you can only do it once you've got established. If you're starting up business, obviously you've got to get your business off the ground first. Once you've done that, then I do think that, there's a place for every business to be able to do something, put something back into the community.
Well, it's a great initiative, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it as I explore deeper into, the culture and
Yes.
your long-term pursuits. Coming back to social media in terms of the marketing of your products and
Yeah.
services, how important is it for you also to come across as the influencer in the business across social media? So
Yes.
other than promoting products and services, what about yourself?
I'm not very personally into, I don't get involved too much in social media personally.
Yep. Probably a good thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Maybe. It's just not my style.
No, fair
I'm
enough.
not much of a one to show off and say, well, look what I'm doing now,
Yeah.
and, this is me in my new outfit, and this is what I'm eating tonight.
Yeah.
That's just not me.
Yeah.
But,
So it's okay not to necessarily be in the spotlight, but yet be such a prominent, business
well,
individual.
that's right. I'm a spotlight avoider,
Yep,
even though I'm here talking to you.
sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess looking at the future of fitness, health
Yeah.
and fitness, and we were talking about this offline just before.
Yeah.
What are the shifting trends, and where do you think it'll be in 10 years' time?
Yeah, well, I think in 10 years' time, more people will be exercising than there are today. When I first started Fernwood, almost 30 years ago now, not many people exercised because they did more with their day-to-day life. We had to get up and turn on the television. everything was manual, whereas now everything's remote. We're doing a lot less, we're eating a lot more, and we're becoming sedentary in our lifestyle. Our phones or our iPads or our communication, everything is causing us not to be able to burn calories. So everyone's going to have to exercise in some way or another.
So is there room for another Fernwood out there, I guess, and how do you remain competitive at the same time?
Well, we remain competitive mainly because we're innovative, constantly coming up with new things, new market trends, staying fresh, and Fernwood is nothing like the original Fernwood, even though we still have the same culture. We're totally fresh and new all the time. We're constantly refreshing our brand and our market offering. We're very in tune with our members and what they need, because women have changed over the last 30 years too. When Fernwood first started, we were offering women a place where they would feel safe and comfortable, whereas now women feel safe and comfortable. They're not frightened of working out with men. It's more that they want their own space to work out in, so it's a different kind of woman. So
And would it make any sense having Fernwood for men?
no, not really.
Probably not.
Wouldn't work.
Fair enough. So in terms of your philosophy...
We wouldn't call it Fernwood anyway. Sorry.
Look, I like the subject of innovation, and obviously that's very key to all entrepreneurial pursuits. Innovation in terms of technology, how do you see that, being relevant or important for your survival long term?
Oh, very much so. We've got quite a large IT team here. We're constantly spending money on IT, on technology, bringing programs online, making sure our members are able to, be a member 24/7, whether they're in a club or not. Programs for them to understand more. Just the technology makes everything possible.
And just another app every day.
It is just another app. It's
constantly
exactly
evolving.
Constantly
Does my head
evolving.
in.
Yeah.
I guess looking at your philosophy to business and to life, and I guess it being a message to others aspiring entrepreneurs, what would be that quote you'd like to share with those people, or something that you've learnt along the way?
Okay. I think the quote would be that 98% of the things you worry about never happen. So if you're starting up a business and you're worried about everything, if I asked you what were you worried about 2 days ago, I bet you couldn't tell me, because we worry about things that just debilitating and take all our energy away, but they don't happen. We just worry unnecessarily. So don't worry about things.
Don't worry, just do it.
Take a step forward, that's it.
Strategies for business development, looking at your 25 years, and on the subject of franchising. I guess that word hasn't come up in this discussion yet.
No.
But on the subject of franchising, what would be your top 3 strategies to grow a franchise business?
Oh, that's really tricky. I think growing a franchise business needs to have good franchisees, and it's very difficult to choose good franchisees as much as we try, but we try to get the best people to run the business, people who are passionate about the business, and then from a franchisor, which I am, to look after them and make sure that they're comfortable, that they're not too stressed, that they understand what they have to do, that we're there to hold their hand and make sure that they're okay. Just looking after the franchisees and getting the right people, doing the right thing for them, and then creating a sense of community so they're all part of the one organisation, they're not on their own. So,
Great.
But it's not that easy. Franchising can be hard, but it's a wonderful way to grow the business where you've got people there with the owner mentality running the business.
So you're looking at expanding it further beyond the 70 or so?
Oh yes, yes, so there's always room for more.
Great, looking forward to that.
Yes.
Look, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Di, and thanks for your insights and for your time, and I'm sure you'll do really well going forward into the future.
Thank you.
So thanks again.